So Dolby invited me to their event in New Delhi recently. The event was held at the Fresh Line Studios in Saket, which actually happens to be the only true Dolby Atmos post-production studio in New Delhi. But what was so interesting over there? Let's check it out. So we were taken into a room inside the studio with a 7.1.4 Dolby setup, which means 7 speakers on the ear level, 4 speakers above us, and a subwoofer. So 7.1.4. But the studio itself was quite fascinating, to be very honest. It's what they call a floating room. So a room inside a room. The outer layer was built with typical things that you would find in homes like concrete and stuff. And then there was specialized acoustic layer and then the studio itself, which obviously used soundproofing materials like styrofoam and stuff. We were shown a couple of demos comparing this typical stereo setup what you would find like in homes and your TVs to a true Dolby Atmos setup. And boy, that was interesting. You can actually hear the instruments move inside the room, and the 360-degree sound just makes a phenomenal difference. The added speakers add a tingling sensation to the sound, which actually gives the ooh effect. I also got to meet an upcoming Indian hip hop singer, Bali. We were made to listen some of his songs in true Dolby Atmos versus this typical stereo setup, and that did actually make a lot of difference. They also showed us Mahindra Thar rocks. It comes with the 4.0 setup and not the 7.1.4 setup like the studio, but even then, the sound and voice separation inside that car was just surreal. Actually, you know what? I'm actually tempted to get the Dolby Atmos setup speaker setup in my room after that demo. It's just so good.